have is the cycle. That's actually the heart. The heart is like this really strong muscle. And won't let the blood go through, so it's in the cycle. So enough blood backs up and pushes out the next cycle. There's spiritually, there's an end of the cycle, which really means you're free. There's no kind of spiritual thing like it, right? Sometimes we have karma, this, that, right? You're free, and you're looking at your work, and it doesn't seem to be satisfying. And the advice is to get out, take what you can, certain sorts, and begin anew. The ace is about pleasure, and all things begin in pleasure. And it's interesting, tarot cards are divided up into two decks. One deck has to do with the elements. Earth, the pentacle, is where you're at. Fire, the staff, is where you're going. That's the future. Fire, you see into the future. And water and air, the cup and the sword, you rode earth to become fire. So that's kind of the process of going from here to there. Above them is the soul. And the soul comes in best upside down like yours is coming. Like babies come. Yeah? And this corresponds to the right side of the brain. And the right side of the brain is the visual side. Like you conceive things in your head in vision. Right? You're able to see ideas. You don't hear them. Right? And it's interesting. They're all going in the same direction, like towards this vision. The essence of woman is pleasure, like we were talking about. Because essence is what you can feel anywhere in the body. And like you can feel pleasure anywhere in the body, inside the body. I mean, we have all these places of pleasure, right? The other one is will. You can will any part of your body. And these things are very connected with knowing, so much that in Kabbalah, if you don't count this, you count this instead. It's called Keter, crown, and surrounds you. So it's really about you discovering sort of like the essence of being man, which is very much in the right side of the brain, because that's connected to the soul. That's how we create sperm.
Whoa, I always thought it was the left side that was connected to being a man.
No, no, the left is rational, and that's woman. Think of how a woman puts a baby together. She has these two cells. She figures out it's incremental thinking, incremental. Woman at sound, she's very good at music, mathematics. You know, she's easily seduced by what men say because the sound is like really important to women, right? Men are completely about sight, right? Why? Because when we look at beautiful women, we make sperm. That's true. That's why men look at, beautiful women, look at pornography. If a man is not feeling strong, he'll look at pornography, so he'll feel like a man. And what does that mean? That through the eyes, you make sperm. And through the brain, what a man thinks about, inculcates into the sperm. So if a man's thinking like fucked up things while you're having sex, ain't good for the woman.
Right. Or
a baby or anything like that, right? It ain't good. So a man really has to be very clear in his mind when he has sex. Mm-hmm. You're not supposed to be thinking, but you're not supposed to be thinking of,
right.
You shouldn't be thinking at all, right?
You should be present. Yeah.
Right, but it's hard to, it's really important to guard one's mind. Very important. Mm-hmm. And so that's why all this stuff is essence. That's where it's coming from. It's coming out of the soul. And we're kind of the conduit between heaven and earth. Heaven and woman, our soul and woman. And we have to deliver this message to woman in a good way.
Oh,
and woman can receive it. Like, that's what we're supposed to do.
That's such a powerful piece for me, actually, like switching that. And, because I feel like, as compared to most men I see, I'm much more intuitive, much more feminine, much more easygoing.
Right.
And I always was like, I need to be more manly, I need to be more rational, I need to be more, but this allows me to kind of step into my power and still be a man.
Absolutely. And in the end we're the head, woman's the heart. But inside of the head, the woman's the left side, the man's the right side. The woman, that what gives birth to emotions. See, it's the left side of the brain, because You know, it's just very cool the way the whole thing works. And then the third eye, that's this. And like when it goes back and forth, like it's really like one, you know, it's one brain. But when suddenly it happens, you know, it's almost like a mental orgasm that you know something. Because you can't think and know it. You can't say, "Oh, I'm going to know this," right? You have to wait.
My wife said she was going to put on my gravestone. I just had a good idea, you know, because I always I'm all day long. I'm like, Eureka!
Right, you know? because you don't think in words, you think in pictures, and they can come much faster.
Yeah.
Right. You see that? Yeah, I see that. Me too. You know, it makes people crazy because you know you see things that nobody else can see, and sometimes you live in that vision. And people don't understand what you're doing, but you have. It doesn't mean the vision's always right, but you know that's the nature of that kind of person, of woman. And we're talking about women, right? And this is actually a card of woman. And in this card, they're celebrating, and 10 is completion, because just like we have the sun and 9 planets, we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. You know, everything is conformed in 10. When you reach 10, you've reached completion. So 9 is like sexuality, but 10 is woman. And when man enters into woman, there's conclusion. And then you celebrate and so all of this is about a conclusion, but the real conclusion is already you've concluded working with other people, or expect other people to do your dreams, or doing their dreams, and you're doing your own dreams. And out of this comes understanding, the left side of the brain. See, we start with the right and it ends with the left. And a man holds his child in the right hand, it's a little world, and he holds his woman above himself. And this is his house. He has security because he is independent and self-reliant. And these are really good things for you to learn at your age.
Brother, thank you, brother. Yeah.